Welcome, everyone, to ITD Appetizers. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that may make your Christmas wish come true next year. In the U.S., there's a new legislative bill that's being proposed that's named Stopping Grinch Bot Act that is supposed to crack down on basically scalpers using bots to purchase up all of the items. This will have good news if it passes. It'll have some good news, I should say. It's yet to be seen what will happen because we all know how that stuff worked with ticketing, right? Nothing is really enforceable. So we'll see what happens with this. Maybe they'll better ways to enforce it. But basically, this bill was proposed by 4 U.S. senators, and they're calling it like I said, they're calling it the Stopping Grinch Bots Act. And it's basically named after a Dr. Seuss character that stole Christmas. So they're wanting them to stop stealing Christmas for everybody else. Because, in this day and age, the biggest hurdle that you have from basically having a fair chance of getting a console is going against bots, really. You're having to sit there and mash the refresh button over and over and hoping you can get one in your cart. And once you get in your cart, the battle's not even half over yet. Now you got to get it to the payment method and the checkout and confirmation, all that stuff. So this bill that they introduced is basically trying to make it to where that can no longer happen, that you can be prosecuted for that, right? So who's going to enforce it? How's it going to enforce it? All that kind of stuff. And like I said, the bill was proposed by 4 Democratic senators, 2 from New York, 1 from Connecticut, 1 from New Mexico. We'll link the article down there so you can kind of read who was behind it and stuff like that. Because we know, so what I talked about earlier was that they have this BOTS Act, BOTS, which was the Better Online Ticket Sales Act that went in proposal in like 2016, was signed into law, but it really hasn't had too much of a drastic measure on ticket sales. I guess, when you think about tickets, it's a little bit harder to capture that, right? I can go stand out in front of the venue and sell my tickets to some hopeful person wanting to get in. Whereas a lot of this stuff, let's take tennis shoes, for example, and consoles and video cards. You can go to StockX right now and fly all that crap you want legally. So I guess might put an end to some of that stuff, right? If you have thousands of them, they might be able to go backtrack some of that and be like, you got this through illegal methods with the bot. We're gonna confiscate all your supply and hope you lost out on thousands of dollars. So sounds good, but we don't know a whole lot like how they're going to be able to enforce it. It may not even pass yet. All we know is it was introduced. It was introduced on Cyber Monday of all days around here. So let's start with Shane. How do you feel about this, man? Let's start it over right. Let's start it off right.
It's my Christmas early. That's what it is. Sign that shit. But we know there'll be one dude out there, one senator who probably a stockholder of StockX or some crap. No, we can't do that. It's free market. No, kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. These people that are out there hoarding is what they're doing. They're hoarding. They're hoarding Xboxes, PlayStations, PC cards, freaking tennis shoes. They can all kiss my butt. Yeah, I will not shy away. I hate scalpers. I hate everything they stand for. To the 16-year-old kid who made I think it was $200 and something thousand in a summer last year, scalping Xboxes and PlayStations. I'd like to see him put in prison with his uncle. But no lube. And I'm done with these people. I think it's ridiculous and disgusting. And for them thieves and bastards to say, oh, well, we make it easier for people to get one. No, you don't. That is the dumbest excuse. And I hope your wife leaves you for the mailman again. I'm tired of this. And I am so thankful this bill has been brought up again, because it was brought up once before. Will it go anywhere? We don't know. We all know how the United States government is really bad. So, but let's hope they put on their Christmas sweaters. They go up to Capitol Hill. They sign that bill, sing a little doodad. I don't care. And I'll let you guys talk. And then we could talk about punishments for getting caught bot stealing. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, it sounds good. I don't think it'll pass personally.
Don't you jinx it, you bastard.
I mean, retailers, they don't care, right? And they have the money to influence, so they're getting their supplies getting bought out. So what do they care? It's really just about the consumers, and it would be great. Again, how would they regulate that? I'm not sure. They would have to have some robust system to make sure that's regulated. But it sounds good on paper. So, I do hope it does pass and they have some good regulations and things that go against the people that do bought this, like jail time or whatever, or a heavy fine or something like that. If they, taking away the goods and things of that nature. So we'll have to see what happens to it. I just feel like it's probably dead in the water in my personal opinion, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't want it. I just don't think here, especially in the U.S. here, we're going to pass something that helps people. So, that's just basically it. I guess we can go. It sounds good, but here's hoping, right? Fingers crossed.
Right. Yeah, that's all we can do, right? Is hope, and then hope that there's some teeth behind the bill. We need to go to Congress and teach them. We need to show them the Schoolhouse Rocks video, right? How a bill becomes a law, guys. Come on, move us along.
Yeah, do that for this.
Because people scalp all kinds of crap, Pokemon cards, all kinds of junk, and you don't have a fair stand in line, if you will. We all purchased all of our consoles, and not a single one of us used a bot. But there was many mornings or nights or whatever you want to call it, where I'm up at 2:00 because my phone's going off, my Twitter alert's popping up, going consoles are going back in stock in like 2 minutes at Target or something, and I'm up 2:00 in the morning when I need to go to work be at work by 6 or 7. And I'm like, okay, let's refresh this button. Okay, it's supposed to go on sale. I got it in my cart. I can't process payment. Next thing you know, they're out of stuff because bots are able to circumvent the security and all that stuff to just basically push through their orders. And obviously a bot can do anything faster than we can do. So they can get by a lot of this crap that we are stuck behind. So it can be done, but it's really hard. And it shouldn't be this hard to get something when you can literally go out to these scalping sites, these places where scalpers sell things like StockX or eBay. And there are hundreds, if not thousands out there for sale, but they're like a $500 console is now $1,000 or $800 or something stupid. Scalpers will scalp just about everything they can. They just had the article where Tesla released the Tesla whistle and people scalped them and put them on eBay. It was the whole joke thing where they said, blow the whistle on Tesla, making a joke of like investors and stuff. So, or, a couple of lawsuits that they got going. So people will buy and scalp anything like Pokemon cards, like I said, tennis shoes. This should help out the tennis shoe guys. If you're
Don't
a shoe
forget
head,
the Xbox mini fridge, for God freaking sakes.
Right. The mini fridge. Yeah.
They even scalped the expansion cards. Somebody was selling I think a 2 terabyte or a 1 terabyte for $500. That thing's expensive already. And it's and you can buy them easily because they're not getting sold out.
Right. So everything and so, in a market where due to COVID and the worldwide pandemic, the supply chains are interrupted, manufacturing's down, all kinds of stuff is down. There's already a supply chain strain, and these douche canoes are making it all worse for everybody. They're, instead of them being good human beings, they're being douchebags and then claiming that they have altruistic intentions. If you had altruistic intentions, you'd be giving those things away to, children's hospitals or something, rather than just saying, I want to buy all these up and sell them for twice the price. Because we all know you're not being altruistic and you're not an entrepreneur. You're a freaking leech on society.
Yep. You're a gray hair on my ass and you're not needed.
Right. Yeah. All you do is suck the blood. You're a Grinch. And that's why that's the name of the law. So the name of the bill. So it's not a law yet. So we'll see what happens. Like Shane had mentioned, this isn't the first time that these senators, 2 of the senators tried to get something through. It got held up back in 2019 and just basically lost steam in Congress. So maybe this one won't. I'm with Nick. I'm hoping it will, but I'm not really holding my breath. We'll see what happens.
Well, we can all say one thing. If anybody's going to let us down, it's our government.
That's because they have their hands in the cookie jar.
Damn right they do. The biggest problem with this is once it's implemented, if it's implemented, and I have a hair more faith than you guys, and I really just do not like the government. But this is a common sense thing. I mean, this is a moral thing. It's a just thing. And I cannot fathom anybody to argue against it, which means we'll have several people argue against it. The StockX people, they'll probably send their lackeys up there to, grease some palms and lube some butts. I don't know. They'll do whatever they can to keep in business. These are the people that are hurting society, not helping it. Like you said, there's nothing altruistic about it. And for them to say otherwise it's a load of crap. I mean, it's like a non-for-profit hospital when they send you a $10,000 bill for a freaking ambulance ride. Yeah, that's still a profit jerk. But how are they going to enforce this stuff? So let's say StockX buys 1,000 PlayStations. And they're hawking them. They bought them with their bots. They're hawking them for $1,000 each. So this bill goes through. How do you punish something like that? What is at stake? So I'm sure in my opinion, besides shoving their computers up their asses, they should have their stock removed. It should probably just be donated or, sold at that price, and the government can at least get some money back on it. I don't know. But I definitely think criminal time should be there because it's just such a immoral and disgusting thing to do. Yeah, it's a game console, but people are out there working hard to get these things for themselves, their kids or whatever, and they're doing it the honest route. To me, that moral justification requires a moral punishment, in my personal opinion. I think 5 years or chemical castration minimum, or at least 5 years minimum in prison. I really believe that. I think it's disgusting that they're allowed to get away with it. Some people call it free market. Some people, think it's okay because, that's the society we're in, but it's not okay. It's just not. So how do we handle the punishments to make it fair? But I'm sure some people will be out there saying, oh, that's too much. Murderers can get, a day in prison. A rapist can get a day in prison, but somebody's selling an ounce of weed, they get 20 years. So how do you work that?
Well, yeah. First of all, I got to figure out how you can detect it first, right? So how are they going to be able to say for sure these people use bots? How do you say that for sure? I mean, what I tried to read up some stuff on the Bots Act. So the Bots Act went into place like 2016. That's the one, online ticket sales. Mm-hmm. The government just January of this year finally brought its first ever case against somebody doing something like that. But it was like a big company. It was like four big companies. So I'm like, are they really going to catch those guys that are buying bots and buying 10, 20, 30, or, 5 or 6 of these things? Are they really going to catch those people? Because in my opinion, if you're buying 5 or 6 with a bot and it's the same as somebody who bought 30 or 50 of them, you still took consoles away from, or anything, we don't even say console. You took stuff away from people who are going to buy it at MSRP and you're throwing it up on another site to make a profit at someone else's inability to use the same sophistication that you use to get it. So how do you track that? And then second, like I said, how are you going to enforce it? So how do we tell if somebody used bots? Are they up to the retailers to track that and send the information back? Because then it's just going to be the whole cat and mouse game again, right? It's going to be which would then be criminals. The people who run bots would then be criminals, are playing cat and mouse with the retailers or whoever's the enforcement agency. Because they're like, prove it. How do you know I used a bot and I didn't just purchase 10 consoles myself?
Because you got 30 of them shoved in your goddamn apartment, you bastard.
But they could say, well, I had 29 of my friends all on the computers and we bought them. And then I just paid them $100 for each one of them that they acquired. You got to prove they use bots because the law is not preventing scalping. It's not an anti-scalping bill. It's an anti-bot purchase bill, if you think about it. You cannot use a bot to purchase mass quantity of these things to turn around and make a profit. So they're not saying that you can't scalp something. They're basically saying you can't use a botnet or a bot to basically go out and buy a bunch of these things.
Then do you believe that the bill should be expanded to scalping?
I think we should have an anti-scalping bill in this country, but
aren't music tickets supposed to be illegal to scalp?
They even have a warning on the bottom.
The Spider-Man movie. People are scalping that shit already for thousands of dollars.
Right, and nobody's stepping in to enforce it, at least none that we see. But yeah, because I believe at the bottom of tickets it even sells, you cannot resell this for over X value, face value of the ticket, or so much percentage over face value of the ticket. So they already have anti-scalping laws on tickets, but those still happen. Where you can't buy up and sell. I mean, but see, that's where this bots thing came into play for ticketing sales, right? They were having trouble with these companies going out and buying up all the tickets and doing the 10% markup, because I believe it's 10%. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while since I had a concert ticket or anything in my hand to look at. At the bottom, it always says can't sell for more than 10% of face value. To them, it was worth it because they could buy a $200 ticket, mark it up 10%, and they made $20 and just, reselling all. They're just reselling all this. So
then it should be you can't sell anything over MSRP.
That's what I think as well. Yeah. You shouldn't be able to sell anything over MSRP, which would eliminate scalping altogether. And that's how you get around that. But our government's not going to do that because we're a capitalist country and it's on free markets. Free markets should be able to self-regulate is the philosophy of capitalism.
Yeah, but there comes a point when you have to realize that actually hurts the free market. But the biggest problem of this is not the scalpers. Truly, it really is people that purchase from the scalpers. Those people that are paying $1,000 for a $500 console, those are the problems. Those are the people that are ruining it for everybody else, because if person A does it, person B is going to come along and do it too, because there's always person A. And then the scalpers are just going to keep doing it. If you make them suffer with a stock of 1,000 PlayStations and they got nobody buying them up, I love to see that. I want to see them hurt. I want to see them suffer.
But there's a country built on that. I mean, we allow futures trading, which in my opinion is complete garbage. We allow all kinds of stuff in this country that should be illegal because you're playing. In my opinion, it goes in that same grade, right? In my opinion, if you trade in futures, you need to take it. You need to receive everything you purchase. So if you bought 10,000 barrels of oil on future trading, you're getting 10,000 barrels of oil delivered to your damn house. So you house them until you decide to sell them. And it's the same thing with scalping, right? These guys just buy 10 of them, keep one for themselves or don't keep one for themselves, and then sell the rest of them for double the profit. And then they just keep investing that money to do it over and over. You have to figure out, you have to have a law that has teeth in it. And we'll just never get there. I don't believe we're gonna have an anti-scalping law until the economy's on the brink of collapse because of the supply chain. And then they're gonna be like, we got to do something now when it's too late.
Yeah. And that probably won't happen even then, because, somebody's making a profit no matter what. Even at the worst of times, somebody's making that profit. And unfortunately, it ain't us.
And I wouldn't do it anyway, even if I had the ability to do it. I'm not going to buy. No. I'm not going to drain $20,000 of my savings to buy a bunch of consoles just to screw over a bunch of people. I'm like, I just want one for myself. Yeah. I don't need to step on somebody else's back to get my own.
Yeah, and if I get the chance, I'm going to buy one for a friend of mine at work just so he can get one. But I'm not going to charge him $800 for a $500 console. I'm going to charge him whatever the hell I paid, because that's called being human. And not as selfish, as you said, douche canoe.
What's a human?
Something they're not.
Yeah. Well, for me, my last thing is, we'll just see what happens. That's all you can do. I'm not holding my breath either that this will pass, but this and anti-scalping laws need to be in place to prevent this stuff. So get on it, I say, but they probably never will.
Yep, and make the punishment fit the crime.
All right.
But me, I'm all about the punishment part.
Shane's waiting to break out Lucille.
Oh, God, yeah. I polished the barbed wire and got a little sand on there, too.
All right. Anybody else got anything they want to say before we wrap this bad boy up?
Kiss my ass, StockX.
Do the crime, do the time.
All right. Well, don't forget, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, man. We need this help. If you guys want to keep seeing some of these videos, make sure you do that so we can keep doing what we're doing here. Help us out. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope to catch you in the next one. And remember, don't be a douche canoe.
See you.